Hi and welcome. This is Johnson Press TV, your digital classroom. Today we are going to go through different types of errors and we'll also solve some practical examination questions with regards to errors. So that's 2025 main campus exams on errors will be solved at the end of the discussion. But I would like to walk you through the various concepts such as misplaced modifiers, dangling modifiers, run-on sentences, comma splice, fragment, parallel structure, subject-verb agreement, and the last but not the least is redundancy. So that will be the last subject I will treat with you. And when you go through the main campus recent exams, you could see that most of the questions are from any of these things that I've stated here, and probably like some few grammatical errors that will be given to you. So just embrace yourself for this all important discussion, and then I trust that you are not going to waste your time watching this video. It will be beneficial to you. If you chance on this video, do well to smash on the notification bell, to share it with your friends. Your brothers and sisters also need help, so when you share it with them, you are also doing them a favor. So share it on your platforms to encourage others to also study, because a lot are willing to study but they don't know what to study. Do you get it? So the exams, as I stated, your exams, that is academic writing 2 exams, are usually given to you in either 2 or 3 parts. So the first aspect is synthesis essay. I recently released a video on synthesis essay. So if you don't understand synthesis essay, there are about 2 or 3 videos on synthesis essay. So you check my channel, just subscribe and you see those videos. Go through my videos. There are a lot. There are about 100 videos, so you have to scroll through. You see the ones I titled them as just for easy sorting and stuff. So watch the synthesis video. So they will test you on synthesis essay, they will test you on errors. So this is what I'm coming to do with you, and then they will test you on referencing. The referencing comes with synthesis essay, and the last thing is the composite summary. I have videos on all these things. There's a video on composite summary, so please make sure after this video you go scroll down. I think maybe the 50th is around the 50th or 70th video that I recorded. That was last year or last 2 years, and each and every year people have been benefiting from it. So we are going to go through with, let me use just 3 seconds. Okay, so currently I have some important offers for those who want to travel to places like Netherlands. They want to go to any of the Schengen countries like Germany, how they call Luxembourg, France, and other European countries. You want to travel to any of this, Serbia, you want to travel to Albania and all those places. I have an exciting offer for those who want to go to these countries. And if you want to travel within 2 weeks, you want to travel within 1 week, or you want to travel within a month, my offers, they don't take much time. Do you get it? So and if you want to go to Canada too, there are also exciting offers. Within 2 months you get your visa and travel to any of these countries. So you can reach out to me on 05454120 05454120, and then we will do business. So thank you for your time. Now let's get started. So when we say errors, okay, errors, an error is in academic writing refers to any mistake that affect the clarity, accuracy, coherency, and credibility of a written work. So in the exams, they are going to give you sample questions, and let me show you the sample questions. Something like this, okay. They are going to give you something like this. So that's the main campus exams. Something like this, about 10 of them. So usually they ask you to correct the errors. I have highlighted the mistakes. Do you get it? But as we get there, I'll solve all of them with you. So they will give you something like this and expect you to solve them, and you need to understand the various ways that errors can be committed. If not, you make some mistakes in correcting those errors. So you need to pay attention to this concept very well. So under the errors, we have misplaced modifiers, dangling modifiers, we have run-on sentences, we have comma splice, we have fragment, we have parallel structure, we have redundancy, we have subject-verb agreement. So somebody will ask, what is a modifier? What is a modifier? So when you say modifier, modifiers are what? They are words, okay, phrases or clauses that provide additional information about another word in a sentence. So they provide additional information about another word in a sentence. For example, the blue car is mine. The word blue is modifying the car. Do you get it? So I can say the car is mine without necessarily adding the blue. But you know, if there are so many cars there, it will be very difficult for you to understand the kind of car I am talking about. So going to say that the blue car is mine makes the statement specific. Do you get it? So I have added additional information to the word that I am modifying. I am modifying the car. The car is here being modified by adding red to it to modify it. Do you get it? Let's move forward. The next sentence is, the beautiful lady is my sister. The beautiful lady. There are so many ladies there. Do you get it? And to be able to tell the one that is your sister, you need to modify the lady to be more specific. Do you get it? So in order not to create confusion, or in order to get your audience understand whatever that you want to tell them. So we go by saying that the beautiful lady is mine. So the word beautiful is modifying the lady. It is adding additional information to the word lady here. So that is what we call modifiers. So now there are different types of modifiers that we will look at, but in the errors we are interested in two errors in modifiers. So do you get it? These modifiers are misplaced modifiers and dangling modifiers. So now that you know what modifiers are, if you are doing dangling modifiers and misplaced modifiers, it wouldn't be difficult for you to understand them. So when you say misplaced modifiers, misplaced modifier is a word, phrase, or a clause placed too far from the word it describes, causing confusion or unintended meanings. So it becomes an error when you place the modifier too far. Okay, when you place it too far from the word that you are trying to modify. So when there is too much distance between the word that you are trying to modify and then the verb that you are using to modify it, then it becomes a misplaced modifier. So let's assume in the example I gave, if I go by saying that the car blue is mine. The car blue, okay, is mine. You know, it will create confusion. There's car blue. Do we have something called car blue? No. It creates confusion. Or if you say that the lady, okay, the lady is my sister beautiful. The lady is my sister beautiful. You know, I have misplaced the modifier. I've put the modifier in between the lady. I said that the lady beautiful is my sister. The lady beautiful is my sister. So when I put it that way, it becomes ambiguous, or it creates confusion. Do you get it? That is the misplaced modifier we are talking about. So let's look at some example under the misplaced modifiers. If I say that I found a woman's gold, I found a gold woman's necklace. I found a gold woman's necklace. It is a misplaced modifier, because the person is trying to communicate to you that he found a woman he found a gold woman. You do get it? He found a woman who is gold necklace. You know how it looks like. there's nothing like a woman's good. There's nothing like what a good woman. There's nothing like a good woman. So when you see this, you don't have to be perturbed at all you need to do is what to correct it, and I'll teach you the ways that you can correct these errors. Another example is she read the book to her friend with a red cover. She read the book to a friend with a red cover. This to the modifier has been what been misplaced. It has been placed very far from the word that it intends to modify. So it has created an ambiguity, confusion, and what and a lot of misinterpretation here. So to be able to correct the problem of misplaced modifiers, all you need to do is to be able to correct the problems of misplaced modifier. All you need to do is first place the modifier closer to the word that it describes. That's the only way you can correct it. So now let's look at the examples I gave. I said that I found a gold woman's necklace, and two, she read the book to her friend with a red cover. So now let's correct it. So you correct it by placing the modifier closer to the word it modifies by saying that I found a woman's gold necklace. Yes, you can you can find a woman, and at the same time you can find a gold, or you can find a necklace. But look at it very carefully. You could see that I have modified the word. Which word are we modifying here? It was the necklace. So when you want to modify it, place it closer to it. So that's why the gold has been placed so closer to the necklace, making it so clear. So I found a woman's gold necklace. So usually always try to identify the word that the person is trying to modify, and look for the modifier where the modifier is. When you identify these two things, then it becomes so easy to modify it, to correct it. So you say that I found a woman's gold necklace, but we don't have a ghost woman necklace there. It is it is an ambiguous statement. Two, she read the book with a red cover to her friend. She read the book with a red cover to her friend. Yes, you can say that she read the book with a book with a red cover. A book with a red cover. But you can't say that she read a book to her friend with a red cover. So this thing means two things. Is it that he read the book with red cover, or she read a friend also with red cover. A friend can never have a red cover. There's nothing like a friend with red cover, but a book can have a red cover. Do you get it? So the person intended to modify the word book, okay, and not the person. So that is it. So we have corrected it by saying she read the book with a red cover to her friend. So the modifier has been placed too closer. The word we intend to modify is the book, and then we are using red to modify the book. So you see that they have been placed too closer. Let's look at the second error, which is dangling modifier. So when you say dangling modifier occurs when a descriptive phrase is not clearly connected to the word it modifies, often making the sentence illogical. And it makes the sentence illogical. Now let's look at some examples here. So let me explain it in simple terms. In simple terms, when you say misplaced modifier, dangling modifiers, okay, or a dangling modifier, the dangling modifier is trying to say that they are when you try to when a phrase is not clearly connected to a word it modifies. That's all. Or probably trying to modify a word that does not have a subject. So in dangling modifier, always there's a missing subject. When they give to you, you could clearly see that there's no clear subject that it intend to modify. Okay, it intend to modify. So that is it. So in dangling modifier, there's always a misplaced word. There's always there's always a missing subject. There's always a missing subject. That is it. One thing you should put at the back of your mind. There's always a missing subject. So when you identify such problem like that, then either you introduce you try and introduce the subject to correct it. That is it. So let's look at some example here. After finishing the assignment, the TV was turned on. After finishing the assignment, the TV was turned on. This is a dangling modifier because it lack a subject. There's no clear subject. Who finished the assignment and who turned the TV on? Do you get it? There's no clear subject here. So it intends to modify as a word that lacks subject. So it becomes a dangling or a danglish modifier. 2, having arrived at late, the meeting has already started. Having arrived at late, the meeting has already started. This is also a problem of dangling modifier. Who arrived at late and who also started the meeting. There's no clear subject here. The third one is driving down the road. A deer suddenly appeared. So who was driving? Are you the one driving, or am I the one driving, or the president, or who was driving at that moment? So this is dangling modifier. So as I've already told you, if you see an error like this, try to introduce a subject. The subject could be either a pronoun or just introduce it as it is, just a person's name, and then you put it to suit or to make the sentence complete. So let's look at it. So this is how, as I said, you identify the missing subject and include it, and also restructure the sentence clearly and show who is performing the action. Do you get it? So you have to always show who is performing the action. So let's look at the examples, the corrections here. After finishing the assignment, I turn on the TV. After finishing the assignment, I turn on the TV. So you see, I introduce the word I, which I have highlighted here. I. So I turn on the TV. The next one is having arrived late, I found that the meeting had already started. Having arrived late, I found that the meeting has already. So I also introduce a word, or you can say that after arriving late, I found that. So there's no problem. Or you can say that after Kofi arrived late, he found that the meeting had already started. Do you get it? Another one is the last one was saying, stated that the last error stated that driving down the road, a thee suddenly appeared. So I can say that while I was driving down the road, a thee suddenly appeared. Or while Kwame was driving down the road, a deer suddenly appeared. So that is the problem. That is all about dangling modifiers. So I know now you know all the modifiers and how to rectify them. Now let's move on to run-on sentences. So when you say run-on sentences occurs when two or more independent clauses are joined without a proper punctuation or conjunctions. So run-on sentences occur when two or more independent clauses are joined without a proper punctuations or conjunctions. And before you be able to understand run-on sentences, you need to understand what an independent clause is and what a dependent clause is. So when we say a dependent clause is a word or a phrase that cannot stand on its own. But independent clauses are they are words or phrases, or a phrase that can stand on its own without the help of any sentence or any any word. Do you get it? So that is all about it. So let me give you an example. If I say, while I was on my way, I saw Johnson Praise. While I was on my way, I saw Johnson Praise. There are two clauses that have been put together. While I was on my way is what? One clause or one phrase, and then the other one is what? I saw Johnson Praise. This is also what? Another clause. You look at these two words carefully, you could see that one can stand on its own, but one cannot stand on its own. One that can stand on its own is called dependent, because it depends on what? Other sentences or other clauses to be able to make meaning. But there's also one that can stand on its own without the help of any other word. If without the help of any other word, even if you take it, it still make meaning. Let's digest them carefully. While I was on my way, does it make meaning? While I was on my way, what happened? Do you get it? So this is what? A dependent clause, because it doesn't make meaning on its own. It need to rely on other clauses to be able to make meaning. If you say, while I was on my way, without adding additional words to it, it becomes what? A fragment. So this is what? A complete fragment. Then that is what? A dependent clause. But let's look at the other part of the sentence which I highlighted blue. I saw Johnson Praise. I saw Johnson Praise is complete. If you say I saw Johnson Praise, sorry. If you say I saw Johnson Praise, don't laugh at me. If you say I saw Johnson Praise, it still makes what? Meaning. Do you get it? Without the help of any other word. I saw Johnson Praise is what? A complete sentence. Do you get it? So words like this, words that are dependent, words that are independent like this, in a situation where two independent clauses are joined together without any punctuation, most of the times you make some of these mistakes. Do you get it? I saw Johnson Praise. I went to greet him, and Obetron is on for comma. He will not bring any comma or punctuate the word. He will just say, I saw Johnson Praise. I went to greet him, or I saw Johnson Praise the other day. I didn't mind him. These are two different clauses, but the person didn't punctuate it, and it becomes what? It becomes a run-on sentence. So you have run it on. While running it on, you've added it to another sentence while it's supposed to be on its own. So let's look at examples of what? Run-on sentences. You say, I love books. I read every day. These are what? The word I love books is what? It's a dependent clause, because you can stand into I love books. Yes, it makes meaning. I read every day. It's also what? A dependent clause. So the person was supposed to bring what? Either a comma. It was supposed to either bring a comma or bring full stop. Even if we bring comma, cry still doesn't make that okay. Or let's even put it that way. Or bring full stop, or introduce what? A conjunction, or probably introduce a semicolon, just to make it what? Complete, but the person didn't punctuate it. So you will see some errors like this. Try to correct it. He said that he is a great singer. He practices a lot. He's a great singer. Is a independent clause. He practices a lot is also what? An independent clause. So they have been joined together without any proper punctuation. So the ways you can method to solve this what? How do you call it? This challenge is what? There are three different methods. So first, use a period. When I say period, we'll use a period to separate what? To separate the independent clauses. So use full stop to separate them. So when you see them like that, I love what? I love books. I read every day. So you see, I put what? Full stop here. I love books. Full stop. I read what? Every day. Another one is what? He is a great singer. Full stop. He practices what? A lot. He's a great singer. Full stop. He practices. So you see, they are making meaning because they are independent clauses, and they don't need what? They don't need an additional independent clauses. If it was to be dependent clause, then it would have make a meaning. Let's look at the next one. So use comma with a coordinating conjunction. So when they say coordinating conjunctions, they are what? Words like and, so, because, and these are all conjunctions. So you need to what, either you use a conjunction to join them together to make what, a complete what, sentence. So you can say that I love books and I read every day. So you see, I introduce and in between the two independent clauses. I'll join the two independent clauses together to make them what, make meaning. 2, he is a great singer because he practices what, a lot. So the word because is what, a coordinating conjunction. I introduce it to make what, the sentence so complete. And then the last one the last method that you can use is what, use semicolon for closely related ideas. So you use what, semicolon. The semicolon, if you don't know semicolon, and then I'm marking it red, and on those who don't know semicolon, this is what, the red one. So when you see, use semicolon just to separate them. So you see that I love books, I read every day, or he's a great singer, he practices a lot. That is it. Let's look at comma splice. When you say comma splice, a comma splice occurs when two independent clauses are joined by a comma instead of a proper conjunction or punctuations. So the difference between, when after finishing this, you know the difference between a comma splice and a run-on sentence. In this case, there are two independent clauses although, but instead they are what, being what, separated by what, a comma, just to make it look like, oh, they are together. So the comma splice is that when two independent clauses are joined together with, by separating them with what, a comma, to make it feel like, to make it feel like what, they are what, they are, it is what, a complete sentence. And I say that is not it. It is what, it is called a comma splice. Here the run-on sentences, it is not two independent clauses, there's no punctuation in between the two independent clauses. But with the comma splice, the words are independent though, but the person has used what, a comma to separate them, to make it feel like they are what, it is well punctuated, but it's not well punctuated. So let's look at some examples here. So if I say I studied hard, comma, I passed the exams, it is what, a comma splice. There's a problem with a comma splice. The comma is not supposed to be there because there are two independent what, clauses here. So you can use what, a comma to separate what, two independent clauses, and think they are you have punctuated them like that. The second is what, the book was interesting, comma, I read it in one night. I read it in one night. It is what, a problem of a comma splice. So let's look at how we can resolve, or the method that we can use to what, resolve this challenge. So first, replace the comma with what, a period. So when you see a problem of comma splice, the way you can solve it is what, use full stop. Use a full stop instead of the comma. So when you see it, just only use full stop. And when you use full stop, the word that is next to it, you have to what, capitalize it. Use what, if the word that starts, do you get it? So you say, let me show you the example. I studied hard, I passed the exams. A comma has been used here. So the moment you use full stop instead of the comma, the next word that comes, which is what, I will say, starting with what, it must start with what, a capital letter. It's not all the words, so, but you need to what, use uppercase for the first letter that comes after the full stop, like the way you have been doing it. Do you get it? If it is a small letter, you have to use what, a capital letter for the word that it starts, because you are starting a different sentence. Do you get it? Like the way you normally do. So that's it. The book was interesting, full stop, then the I has to be what, has to be capitalized. So this is how I've done it. So you see that I've done them perfectly well. I've corrected it. Another way you can correct a problem of a comma splice is what, use a semicolon if the ideas are closely related. So here too, I studied hard, then I brought the semicolon, I passed the exams. Or the book was interesting, then I read it in one night. Also, let's look at the last example. let's look at the last way that we can resolve the problem of a comma splice. Use a coordinating conjunction. So when you see like this, you have to use what? A conjunction to what? To join the two sentences together. So you see that I studied hard, so I passed the exam. So I passed the exam. So you see, I introduce so, which is what? A conjunction to join the two words together. Or the last one says that the book was interesting, so I read it in one night. So that is what a way you can resolve it. Let's move on to the next one, which was what? Fragment. You already know what a fragment is. So fragment is what? It's an incomplete sentence that lacks a subject, a verb, or a complete thought. So sentences that lack subject, verb, or complete thought will be given to you in the errors. Sometimes they give you something like this. When you see it, you need to what? Add a missing subject or the verb, or try to make it what? Make sense. So examples of fragment are because he was late. Because he was late, you see, it doesn't make sense. It's incomplete thought. Because he was late, so what happened after he was late? Was he beaten? Did they sack him? Did they sanction him? What really happened whilst he was late? Or do you get it? So the sentence is like you trying to say, oh, I'll tell you something, and you never told me what the problem was. Do you get it? You keep me waiting to listen to more. You put me in a state of what? Confusion. You make me wonder what you want to tell me. Do you get it? So if you want to, that is how fragment are. It will just give you some hope. Oh, I want to tell you something. No, I vanish. That is it. So the next one says that running down the street. Running down the street. What happened? Running down the street is what? Incomplete sentence, or it doesn't make sense. So you need to add some words to make it complete. And the last one is what? And the dean of distance education. The dean of distance education doesn't make sense. So the dean of distance education has done what? Okay, so you are not telling me what the dean of distance education has done. Is he fantastic? Is he a good person? Is he a bad person? You didn't add anything to it. So let's solve it. So you go by saying that because he was late to work today, he missed the bus. He missed the bus because he was late to work. He was what? Late to work today. He missed the bus. So the word I added was what? To work today, he missed the bus, because the word I gave to you is because he was late. Because he was late, so he didn't make a sentence. So I added some words to it. To work today, he missed the bus. And then the next one is what? He was running down the street. So he was running down the street. So running down the street doesn't make sense. So if you say he was running down the street, at least it makes some little sense. Do you get it? He was running down the street. Also, the last one, the dean of distance education, is very friendly. Sorry, it was supposed to be friendly. So forgive me. I was, I type everything in the midnight. I didn't sleep because of this the errors. So that is it. I did all the work overnight. So forgive me. I made this mistake. Also, so this is the problem. This is how we can solve it. Let's look at what we call parallel structure. So when you say parallel structure occurs when parts of a sentence that should be grammatically what? That should be what? Grammatically same are not what? Are not in the same form. Or then you see it occurs when parts of sentence that should be grammatically what? Grammatically the same are not in the same form. What we are trying to tell is that sentences are supposed to flow for what? For coherent and what? And conciseness, or let's say like and for what? Clarity. They are supposed to flow. But in this manner, you see the sentences are moving in one direction, but one sentence or one kind of word will be put in to distract the structure of how the sentences are being formed. This is what we call parallel structure. So it is flowing in one direction, but all of a sudden a different thing will be put in, or a different construction will be added to just what? Trace the direction of the sentence structure. That is what we call the parallel structure. Let's look at some example. He likes dancing, to swim, and running. You see, to swim, adding to swim, you have what? You have shifted the structure of what? The sentence, even though you are trying to make a sense. But to swim, and it doesn't flow like that. There's a problem with what? Parallel structure. So you see that he likes dancing, swimming, and running, instead of saying he likes dancing, to swim, and run. So you see, it's not following that pattern. You have what? Choosing that structure, parallel. That line that you have chosen is not following. That's why you say it's parallel structure. It's not following that line that you've chosen. So to ensure free flow of what? The sentence, it must follow the line that you've chosen. Another one is what? The teacher said we should study hard, be punctual, and participation in class. You see, participation in class doesn't follow in our manner. Do you get it? So you can go ahead by say that the teacher said we should what? Study hard, be punctual, and participate in class. It is what? It ensures what? Coherence and what? And clarity, and also would ensure there's what? A parallel structure. Most of the times you do make some of these mistakes when forming sentences. Let's look at, so like I stated, ways you can correct it is to ensure all elements in a list have the same grammatical structure, and also use the same verb tense and form for parallel ideas. So you must use what? The same verb tense and form, and also ensure the elements in a list have the same grammatical structure. So that's the corrections. I've already done the corrections. See, he likes dancing, swimming, and running. It's following in that structure. Or the teacher said we should study hard, be punctual, and participate in class. That is it. Let's look at subject verb agreement. Subject verb agreement, it usually comes a lot sometimes. Do you get it? Because when you say subject verb agreement, we are trying to tell you that your subject and your verb should agree but not to disagree. If your subject is in plural tense, then the verb should be in plural tense. If the subject is in what? Singular terms, a singular tense, or a singular form, then the verb should also be in what? In singular what? Form. But in a situation whereby the subject is plural and then the verb is singular, then there's a problem with what? Subject verb agreement. It becomes what? There becomes what? An error. Do you get it? Or if the subject is singular and then you make the verb plural, then you usually make this mistake. Oh, they said Kwame a boy. Okay, use at times you get it. So let me give you examples of what subject and verb agreement. When you say that the boys must agree. The boys is what? A plural what? Verb, a plural subject. Boys. Do you get it? It ends with s, so it is what? In plural what? Form. So the verb, which is what? The boys are. Is what? The verb. Becomes, it should what? It should be because it's also plural. So use what? The plural, but you can't say the boys is good. The boys is good. It's what? There's a problem. It's a grammatical error here. So there are various rules that we need to note when it comes to subject verb agreement, and there are a lot. There are about 10 or something, but I'll do it fast so you understand. So singular subject should take singular verb, and plural subject should take plural verb. For example, when you say that she runs every morning. She runs. The word she is what? Singular. And then runs is the verb, which is what? Which is also what? Singular. Runs. She runs. But if they are two, you can say Kofi and Amma run every morning. Run, which is what? Plural form. Do you get it? Another one is what? Another example. They run. Do you get it? They run. They is what? They is the plural what? Is plural, and then run is also in plural what? Tense. So they run every morning. That is what? So the subject, singular what? Subject should take singular verb, and plural subject should take what? Plural verbs. Let's look at the next one. When two subjects are joined by an end, use plural. So do you get it? For example, when you say Kwame and Mary, they become what? Two people. So you use what? Plural verb, which is what? Are. So Kwame and Mary are coming to the party. But if it is only John, if it is only, you say John and Mary are coming to what? The party. But if it's only John, you say John is coming to the party. John is coming to the party. Let's look at another rule. When two singular subjects are joined by or no, use singular verb. Or no. So do you get it? Either Kofi nor this. You have to use singular verb. When singular subject, we are trying to say singular subject too. If the singular subject are being joined with or no, but in an event where it become what? A plural subject, then you have to go the other way around. Do you get it? So let's look at the example. The example is that neither John nor Mary is what? Available. Neither John nor Mary is not available. So anytime you get either this nor that, then what? You have to what? If it is singular, if it is what? A singular subject that are joined by what? Or no, then you have to what? You have to use what? Is for it. Pay attention to this because this normally creates a lot of confusion. The next one is when singular subject and plural subject are joined by or no, the verb agrees with the subject closer to it. So in an event whereby you have what? The subject and then what? When the subject there's a singular subject and then a plural subject that are joined together and they are using the word or no, then use the verb. The verb should what? Agree with the subject that is closer to it. The verb agrees with what? The subject closer to it. So here, let's look at an example here. Either the teacher or the student. So you see that the word that is closer to the verb is what? The word that is closer to the verb, which is is what? Student. So student is what? Is plural. Student is what? Plural. So it becomes what? A plural. Use what? Plural verb. So you say either the teacher or the student, then because of the word student. But if it's supposed to be either the teacher or the student without s, it then becomes what? Either the teacher or the student is responsible. That's all. You are correct. But if let's assuming it's like in this form, either the teachers, do you get to pay attention? Either the teachers or the student is responsible. That is the correct answer. Either the teachers or the student is responsible. That's all. Now let's look at the next one. Indefinite pronouns like everyone, someone, and each take singular verb. So let's look at the example. Indefinite pronoun words like everyone, someone, each, they should take what? They should take singular verb. For example, everyone likes ice cream. You can say everyone like ice cream. It is what? It is not what? You are making what? It's a grammatical error. Everyone likes ice cream. No, everyone everyone likes ice cream. And you can say everyone like what? Ice cream. So indefinite pronoun. They are pronouns that you can determine the number. Everyone, everyone, someone, who is that person? So everyone likes. So you have to use singular verb for it. Let's look at the next one. So collective noun, for example, team, family, committee. Collective noun like team, a club or something like that. They are called collective noun. So collective noun takes singular verbs if acting as what? A unit, and plural verb if acting as individuals. So it's what? It should take a singular verb. It is if it is acting as a unit, if they are together. Something like a club or a family. Oh, the family is good. Do you get it? But if they are the family are acting as what, as individuals within the family, then you have to use plural for it. So let's look at the example. The team is winning the match. The team is winning the match, so it is acting as a unit, as a whole. So it is what, one unit. So the team is winning the match. But if it's what, if it is acting as what, individuals, then you have to use what, a plural verb, which is what, the team are arguing among themselves. The team are arguing among themselves. Let's look at 7. So expression of quantity follow the noun they describe. So when you are expressing in a form of quantity, then it should follow the noun it describes. For example, $10 is a lot of money. $10 is what, a lot of money. So it is what, a singular idea. $10 is a lot of money. But example, another one is what, a few students are what, absent. Is what, plural what, ideas. So let's look at the next one. Title of books, movies, and organization take singular verbs. For example, The Lord of Rings, it is what, a movie. Do you get it? So you should take a singular. The Lord of what, of the Rings. In as much as even end with s, it still has to take what, a singular what, verb. So the Lord of the Rings is famous. It's a famous book. The Lord of the Rings is what, is a famous book. Okay. Or you can see that the gift child is my favorite word book. So you have to use singular for it. Let's look at number 9, the ninth one. There is and there are agrees with what, the subject that follow. There, and in a situation where you meet something like there is or there are, then the word that is what, closer, the word that is what, use the word that is what, it should agree with what, the word that is closer. So there is what, a problem. There is what, a problem. So you see, you can't say there is a problem. There are a problems. No, you get it, because the problem is only one. So you see, there is a problem, but you see there are many problems. Do you get it? So when you are using then the word that you are using, when you are using a word there, then you have to look at the subject. The word that you are going to modify, it should agree with what, the subject. It should agree with the subject. There are many what, students. There are many students. You can't say there are many students. No, it is not. So the last one I want to look at is what, the gerunds. Okay, this is where what, verb ending ing, use as what, subject, and take singular verb. So word using as ending with ing is used as subject, and it should take what, a singular verb. For example, swimming is what, a fun. Swimming is what, a fun. Now we are done with what, the subject verb agreement. So anything that comes in subject verb agreement, I hope you can do it. Now let's look at redundancy, which is what, the last one I want to solve with you, the last error. When you say redundancy in writing, it occurs when unnecessary words or phrases are used, making what, sentence longer without adding value. They often involves repeating the same idea in different ways. For example, when you see she reverted back to her previous job, reverted and back, it causes it's what, redundancy. Reverted back, reverted is the same as back. So if you say she reverted, you can say what, she reverted to a previous job. Or you say she reverted to a previous job. Or another one is what, she will combine together our resources. She will combining, and then together they are the same words. As you see, she will combine, either you say she will combine our resources, but bringing together makes it what, redundancy. And also we see that she repeated the same mistakes again. The word repeating and what, again, are the same, which you are repeating. So you say that she repeated the same mistake. Don't have to bring what, again, makes it what, redundancy. So these are the ways you can solve them. So these are the way you can solve them, by what, taking the unnecessary words out. That is it. So let's look at the main campus exams. and see how best we can correct them. So the following are sentences, okay? They have errors, so rewrite the sentences and correct them. So he said, it says that each of the participants were given a questionnaire. Each of the participants were given a questionnaire. So with the little that you've learned, let's try our hands on it. Each of the participants were what? Given a questionnaire. So each, the word each is a singular word, verb. So you can say each of the participant, and then each the verb is a singular word, a subject. Okay, so you can't agree with what? A verb, which is what? A plural verb. So you go by and say what? You correct it by saying each of the participants was what? Each of the participant was given a questionnaire. So it should be what? Was instead of what? Instead of where. Do you get it? I hope you understand. So it should be what? Was instead of. Now let's look at the next one. It says that this we are solving the questions together. So if you have a way you can solve, drop it under the comment section too. The studies findings support the initial what? Theory. The studies findings support what? The initial theory. This is also a problem of subject verb agreement. The studies findings support the initial theory. So the problem here is what? Support. The studies findings. This is they are what? Singular what? Singular verb. Okay, the study. So it's a singular verb, and okay. So you say that. So the studies what? Findings. So they are what? Plural verb rather. The studies findings. The word findings is what? Plural what? Verb. Findings. So you can't agree with what? A plural subject, okay? And you can't agree with plural verb. So you can't say the studies findings supports. Findings and support, they are disagree here. So you go and say that by saying that the studies findings support instead of supports. The S makes it what? The problem. So you see where the problem lies. So you just correct it that way. Let's go to number 3. He said that number 3 says that C says that he did his homework before dinner. He did it. This is what? This problem also has to do with what? Spelling error. So the word dinner. This is not how we spell dinner. So they will test you on these things. The word the dinners is what? Is DINNER. So there's what? A problem here. So you rewrite it, okay, by correcting it. So anytime they give you error, they don't expect you to identify the type of error, but they will expect you to rewrite and correct the errors. Do you get it? So only rewrite the answers, and for them, that's how they want it. So let's look at this one. We did it. Neither John nor his friends was late for the meeting. We solved this. So D, drop the answer if you know, because I've already done this with you. The subject verb agreement. Neither John nor his friends was late for the meeting. So what is the answer for this? Please, I'm expecting your answer for D. So write the answer for D. It's maybe this. Okay, this is subject verb agreement. But the problem is they disagree here. The subject and the verb disagrees on certain things. So what is the answer? So bro, drop it and let's see. When we are done, I'll give you the final answer. So drop it before. Let's go to E. E says that please a minute. So E says that the dog barks all night. The dog barks all the night long. So the dog barks all the night long. The dog barks all the night long. The dog barks all the night long. So this is what? This is a problem of what? This is a problem, a redundancy, as I discussed with you. And you say the dogs barks all the night long. Okay, there's what? A problem with what? Redundancy here. The dog barks all the night long. So you go by saying, or is this not redundancy? No, I think this is a sentence fragment. The dog barks, okay? The dog barks all the night long. So you see, there's what this is a problem of what fragment. This is a fragment because the dog's barking all night long. Sorry, so that is the correct thing. The dog's barking all night long is what there's a problem with what fragment. So you go and correct it by saying the dog was barking all night long. The dog was barking all night. So let's look at F. F says that Andor works more harder than anyone else in the office. More harder. She works more harder. So this is what a problem with what redundancy. So you have to what correct it. You have to correct it. The problem with what redundancy. So so you go by saying that it's what a comparative what error. So you go by saying that Andor works harder than anyone else in the office. Andor works harder. So you have to take the word more from it. That's why I say it's redundancy. So you see, she works what harder than everyone else in the office. So it's redundancy. Let's go number G. It says that the teacher asks the students to complete the assignment. This is a spelling mistake. So the word complete, this is not how we spell complete. So you have to correct the word complete. So what? So the complete is COMPLTE. This is what the correct way. So let's go to Jean. Jean says that she hasn't finished her work yet. She hasn't finished her work yet. This is a spelling what mistake. The contraction, this is a wrong contraction. Hasn't, this is not how we spell hasn't. It has to be what HESSN, then you have to what bring the apostrophe in between N and T, which is what? So the contraction. When you say contraction, contractions are where like doesn't, mustn't, isn't. They are all contractions. So there should be apostrophe in between the N and T and not the S and N. Do you get it? So this is what a problem. Then I says that the children's toys were scattered all over the floor. The children's toy were scattered all over the floor. So this is what another problem. So you go by saying that this is the children's what toy were scattered all over. So the children's toys were scattered all over the place. So you see, the problem has to do with what the possessive form. So children's, you can't say children's. We have children. They are what? They are just children like that. So if you are using children's, then you must bring what apostrophe in between the N and S. So children's. Do you get it? Or at the latter end, the children's. The apostrophe come after the S or in between the S and N. Do you get it? So the problem has to do with the children. So we go by saying that the children's toy was scattered all over the place. So you look at some of these things, they will come. And then let's look at the last example. The last example is Akosia should study hard for the exams. Akosia should what? Study hard for the exam. So here Akosia should studied hard. You can't say Akosia should studied hard. Should. So you go by saying Akosia should have studied hard for the exams. So these are what the should have studied. So these are the complete what errors the examples I've given. So thank you for your time. As I stated, the traveling packages, if they are ones you can travel within a week, There are ones you can travel within what, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Okay, so they range from what, the Schengen visas. We have Schengen visas. We have Australia work visa. We have Serbia work visa. We have other countries too that are available. So you contact us, and then we ensure that everything move on. There are so many systems. A lot of things are happening in the system. You need people with such experience that can guide you through the process and give you the concrete package. So God bless you for your time. Thank you. See you in the next. But academic writing, I'm done with all the videos I'm supposed to do. I wish you all the best. There are videos on composite summary. Please learn the composite summary. It is here. I've dropped it on my channel. Most of you don't like doing research. It's just like videos, searching through like 100 videos and finding the right video. Some people will not do. They want you to send them the link before they do. But please make sure you look for the composite summary, because the exams will be centered on these 4 areas: as referencing, synthesis essay, composite summary, and errors. These are the ones they will be given to you in the exams. God bless you.